What is up, everybody? Welcome to Free Lady. Welcome to the Free Lady Show, you guys. I am your host, Brittney McWethy. I am here to help you get out of any situation that you're currently in, to help love yourself and know that you get to choose the life that you want by telling my story, telling other people's story. Again, I'm not a licensed therapist, you guys, but I am here to bring other people's life stories that they have been through and how they got out. And guess what? You get to connect with all of them. It's all about finding your community that will help guide you to the help that you need. That's what we're here for. We're here to find that love for yourselves. So everybody, welcome Kate Ellen to the show. Yay. We have known each other for a really long time. I used to do Kate's hair back in Ventura, California, and I have watched this woman become like a more incredible woman every single year. It has been such a cool thing to watch her blossom, and it's just, she has an amazing story, you guys. But of course, we're going to start off with 3 things that we're grateful for. I'm grateful to have a Ventura person on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a client of mine that's super cool. The sun is out. It's finally warm, but I also realize how white I am. I was like, damn, baby, I'm like blinding people up in here, even myself. And I'm just grateful to the journey of like taking leaps of faith. What are you grateful for, Kate?
Oh gosh, so many things, but today I'm grateful that I can move my body, that I got out of bed and I can move my body, because there's so many people that can't.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my peace, just my calmness, and I am grateful for the amazing people that surround me and lift me up and are by my side every single day.
Oh, I love that.
So
Kate, who are you? What do you do?
well, I do a couple things. So I am the director of health and wellness and development at the YMCA here in town. Been there for 17 years. Love my job. And then during the pandemic, everybody's jobs were kind of up in the air. Are we going to go back to work? Are we not? But because of my background in human services and the story that we'll get into, I have a real passion for helping people and seeing people have a second chance at life. And so then I went and got my certification in addiction recovery coaching and intervention. It and still is, but the pandemic made everybody's addictions, whatever it may be, whatever they're fighting, a little worse.
Right.
And the more you dig into it, you see that there's a deeper issue there than just the addiction. It goes farther than that, mental health and everything like that. And so, like I said, I'm just very passionate about that. So I did that so that I had a backup plan, in case I didn't have to go back, or, I didn't have a job,
Right.
but also because I just love it. I just love it. So.
You do. Kate is like, because I did her hair for so many years, you guys, like, she is such a passionate person and who just loves she goes all in. I feel like you go all in, I really do. So tell us about, like, I know her story, you guys, very, very well, because we would sit and chat. She'd be my last client. We would just sit there and talk and just, like, she inspires me. You inspire me so much, Kate, for everything that you've been through. And, tell us the journey of how you got to the place that you are today, which is a long story, I know.
It is, and I'll try and make it quick. But so I met my ex-husband back in high school. We were very young, obviously high school, 17, 18. And it's that whirlwind, like, whoo, like there's this guy and we're hanging out and we're, really just enjoying each other's company. And you kind of just think that that's your be all end all, right? You're young and you just feel in love, but what is love? You don't have any definition or guidance, or you don't really know what love is. It's kind of just this feeling of, ooh, there's somebody else there. And I obviously was graduating high school, going away to college. So when I went away to college, it was that whole thing where, oh, we'll stay together, we'll do this, you know.
Right.
And while I was up there, I was only up there for a semester, because I started getting really involved heavily into drugs and things that I knew in my heart, if I stayed there and on that path, it wasn't going to be good.
Right.
And so I decided to come home, and I went to VC to, you know, just do my AA. And when I came home, I ended up pregnant. And so, which I wouldn't change for the world, but you automatically get thrown in that stereotype of teenage parent, yada, yada, yada. Right.
Yeah.
So, obviously I, you know, went through with the pregnancy. And during that time, though, you have that parents are very traditional, right? And so you kind of get that whole like, okay, well, you're having a baby, so you guys should probably get married type situation on your hands. Which Tyler was 6 months old. We went ahead and got married. Now, were there some red flags when I was still dating Owen? Absolutely. You know, especially with the drinking side of things.
Right.
But again, you're 18, 19, you're in this whole like world of not really recognizing where it could go.
Right.
So Owen is a musician, a very, very talented musician. And a full disclaimer, he is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man.
Yes.
That I adore and I care about greatly, that's sick. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's there. I don't have any hatred or ill will towards this person. Right. And so he was a musician. I'm 20 when I get married. You know, I have a kid at 19, 20 when you're gone. We're still kids.
Oh yeah.
So he is a musician. And at that time, their band is doing really, really well. Yeah. So they're traveling all over the world. I end up pretty much being a single mother to a brand new baby, working full time, you know, living off of, you know, WIC and all the things just to get by and kind of prove I can do this on my own. I don't need any help type thing.
Right.
But I also support that passion. I support people's passions. If that's what you want, I'm not going to say, nope, you need to stay at home and work and be a miserable human being. Like, because what good does that do me? What good does that do him?
For sure.
So I think that being a musician, there's a lot of attention behind it. There's a lot of obviously drinking, partying, all of that stuff. And then I think that fueled the real alcohol problem that just became so bad.
Right. Right.
That but when you're living it, you don't really realize how bad it is until it's like, this is really, really bad, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I never got divorced or married to get divorced ever.
Right.
And I'm a huge empath and I'm a fixer. And so to my, like, is that to a fault? Absolutely. 100%, because you're like, shoot, I'm just going to put all my time into trying to fix this person. Right. Yeah. And then you look around and you're like, oh, you look like you need to be fixed. Come here, I'll help you. But then it's like, what in the world? Like, I'm losing myself in all of this.
Exactly.
Anyways,
exactly.
So I, you know, thought that maybe he would change, maybe he would change, maybe he would change. We were married for 18 years.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I own my part of it too. I own my part of it, because what happens is in a situation like that, you feel there's a control going on there, right? I was in complete control of his every single move for his safety. So would he call me from the bar at 4 a.m. to come get him? Would I? Absolutely, I would, because I'll make sure he's home safe.
Right.
So basically, I felt kind of like I was raising two children.
Exactly.
In a sense.
Right.
Fast forward, you know, the years go, it's not been the best marriage. Would I say we were in love? Probably not. Did I love him with every fiber of my being? 100%. Yes. He is, you know, he was my husband and he is my father's child.
Right.
And I will always, you know, that does not change. What does change though, is you lose yourself in the process.
Right.
So I went from graduating high school to being a mother and married.
Right.
So I never had that growing up period. I was kind of forced into growing up really quick. But I took on that responsibility. That was my responsibility. So Tyler, you know, as he got older, like I said, we kind of coexisted really well. We had a very codependent relationship.
Right.
It was my comfort. It was my home. So Tyler is getting ready to go to college. I never wanted to divorce while Tyler was in the home. And I don't know, you know, you can say it's difficult with an adult child because they can form their own opinions.
Right.
But then the little ones back and forth to different homes.
Right.
You know, it's I don't think there's ever a really good time because it's the child's parent regardless.
Right.
So I went away to take Tyler to his college orientation. And my biggest nightmare happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because I wasn't here to make sure Owen was home safe. And he had a whole lot to drink and ended up, you know, pulled over in jail, and stuff like that. So I got the phone call the next day because I couldn't get a hold of him, you know, to tell him how we're doing up here.
Right.
That had happened. And it didn't surprise me.
Right.
It saddened me. It saddened me because I thought, you know, there was guilt involved because look, I'm not here to take care of you.
Right.
But also I'm here with our child at a college orientation. You can't keep it together for just a couple days, you know?
Right.
So there was that guilt there, but we were still married. But that finally was the point where I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't. The stress of it, the anxiety of it, the constant worry, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So we very amicably made a decision that we would go our separate ways. Great,
Right.
you know. And then you don't really realize when you say, I want to go my separate way, what that does to you emotionally when you're so invested in something for so long.
Right.
So when we finally did part, I lost control, right? I lost control of every single thing I had control of for 20 years.
Right. Right.
My son was away at college. I was all of a sudden living all by myself, hearing stories from mutual friends about what he's doing and stuff like that. And you can ask people a million times, please don't talk to me about it.
Right.
And I'm not one to air my business on social media and
Right.
all of that. So I would hear stories and then it would send me into a spiral because what would I do? I would call him and be like, why is this happening? Still wanting to fix.
I remember.
What that did to me is, you know, I'm a type A personality. We can only be strong for so long.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, the doctor explained it. Most people run here, type A's run here.
Right.
So you don't have anywhere to go but over.
Right.
And so that happened. And I called him and I said, I want zero responsibility. None. I don't want to be responsible for anything anymore. You handle it. Do not involve me in anything. And what I really want to do is just take my Xanax and go to sleep.
Yeah.
He took that as, sorry, my dog. He took that as I'm going to kill myself, right? I appreciate him making that phone call today because that's what changed my whole trajectory. So he called the police. This is where she's at. They pulled up behind me. And then they got me out of my car. They were very wonderful, wonderful men. And it's like, you know, people have bad things to say about police officers and these first responders and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
They didn't know me. I was in my most vulnerable position ever in my entire life. And those men were so kind to me. And it was like, I just broke, you know, and they were very, very good to me. But because it was a suicide call, I then went to Hillmont here in town, which is the, you know, the lockdown psych ward. And then they put me on a hold. So you walk in and you're in a dark room. I was in a dark room with people that, you know, are seriously, seriously ill. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't belong here, but just go with the flow, Kate. Don't say anything. So when I saw the psychiatrist that night, he put it perfectly. He said, in a situation like yours, when you're in a relationship or a home or anything like that, where you are the person that takes care of everything, think of it like a spider. You've built this perfect web, perfect. And then something like this happens, and it's like a human just walks right through that web, and you're on your back just flailing. And I will never forget that man's words. And then he told me, he's like, what happened to you is normal. You aren't not normal. But because of the personality and the total control for so long and losing control, this is why you spiraled. Anyways, it was that day that I went, Kate, stop this. Did I still fall into bad patterns with other people? Yes. Narcissistic men. The control then turned on me, and I was like, well, this isn't going to work, you know, like, blame was put on me. I became a shell of who I actually am. And I thought, gosh, this isn't how things are supposed to be, you know? So that all happened about 6 years ago, but it was not until about, I would say 4 months ago, that I completely found my peace. And that was because I blocked out every single person in my life that brought bad energy to me completely. I can't do it. I can't take care of everybody because I wasn't taking care of me. And who am I to anybody else if I'm not healthy?
100%.
And so I have now, like I said, when I, you know, the things I'm grateful for, I have met some of the most wonderful people, be it work, be it just being around music or whatever it is. And you find other women that empower each other. And it's like nothing, it's magic. It's nothing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And then you start sharing and you realize they have a very similar story, or they've gone through. And so it's so liberating to the point where I am so content with me and where I'm at and my heart that I don't need anything else in life except this. Granted, I love my child, you know, all those things.
Tyler's
all those things. I love but I never knew the feeling of being completely happy and in love with myself and not having that outside energy do it for me or provide for me. I don't need anybody to provide for my happiness. Can they complement it? Absolutely, 100%. But I don't need anybody to make me happy. I don't want that. I don't need that. I can take care of Kate. And I think that has but don't get, it's been a journey. I have done all the things. Reiki therapy is absolutely amazing. It's this, you know, energy healing. I did therapy for a long time. I did the Tony Robbins big, you know, multi-day conference thing on, you know, like it was amazing. And
he's incredible.
And you take all these little pieces and you realize, like, if I put all these little pieces together, wow, like in my room, my whole wall is just a bunch of sticky notes with quotes and things that I learned from that. And I read them every single morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't check my phone every single morning when I wake up.
Right.
I take time for me.
Yes.
I fuel my body, I work out, I do all of that. And there's nothing influencing me anymore.
Mm.
It's weird, but I mean, I think you can understand what it feels like.
Yes.
Because that toxic energy around you, you don't really realize how toxic it was until it's gone.
Girl, yes. Amen.
And people take advantage of that, right? And they latch onto it.
Yes,
You know,
I do.
I'm a nice person. I give everybody, and I love, like you said, I love hard, and I love with every fiber of my being. And like, but then you go, why am I not lovable? No, you are.
Right.
But these people are sucking your energy, and they're accepting of all your love, but they aren't able to give it in return.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at today. And another reason why this coaching stuff, I think, is so, it's good for me. But what I've done is I've had to learn how to set boundaries also.
I literally was waiting. I was hoping you would say that. Yes.
Because there's internal boundaries, right? And then there's the external boundaries. And I'm first to say that I take other people's problems, I take them in and I bring them home.
Right.
But I've had to learn those boundaries also. It's all been really good. So as much as I love doing this, it's been a really good lesson for me and a tool on sticking to boundaries and saying no if I don't want to work with a certain person, or
Right.
saying no if I don't want to go do A, B, and C. It's okay
Right.
to say no. I used to have a real problem with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that everything in life, every single thing in life is a lesson.
Mm.
And we can either sit in our misery for the rest of our life. I could have sat in that divorce for the rest of my life.
Right.
Or you take it and you go, wait a second, your brain's such a powerful tool, right? I still to this day go, oh, I miss that. I miss that. Sometimes I want the comfort of that because it's what I was used to.
Right.
I think that accepting what happened almost, I didn't want to accept it because then it was real.
Right.
Right? Right. But it happened to me for a reason, and it happened to me to get me to where I'm at today and the person that I am today. And it's funny, we joke at work because I'm redoing my office right now, and they're like, can we just put a couch in Kate's office? It's like, you know, the therapy room. You all can come in and sit and we can all, but again, it's not just me who did all the work. It's the people I surrounded myself with. I watch your podcast. I watch your Instagram stuff. I listen to you. Like, I get chills sometimes when I listen to, but also it's like, you can be in this great place, but still have bad days. We still have hard days.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I think too, what's really, really beautiful is through the divorce, I always knew that there was somebody that could love Owen better than I could.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
There is, his person is out there, one that will be accepting of his fault, his flaws, and the things that would drive me wild.
Right.
And the most beautiful thing is that he found that. I mean, he's so endearing. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. He would never hurt a single solitary soul.
Right.
And he's had to, you know, deal with some of the guilt of a failed marriage and a broken family and stuff like that. But I don't wish that upon him.
Right.
And the beautiful thing is, him and I, we are better friends than we were spouses. This has taken a while to get. We can talk on the phone and have really productive conversations. If he's going through something, I can, you know, offer my advice. I'm not trying to fix him anymore, but I will give advice.
Right.
But so beautiful and in such a good place that I was able to attend their wedding. So my son and I were at their wedding last July. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And he was very happy and she's very happy. And this is what I wanted for him.
Oh,
As much as you don't want it, because it was like during a time of like the worst, darkest time in my life. And now all of a sudden he's over here doing this.
yeah.
I did want that for him. So yeah, she loves him. Oh, like you wouldn't believe. And he loves her. And it's just beautiful. And sometimes we'll have FaceTime calls, him and Cassie and Tyler and myself, and we all catch up.
Yeah.
So there is a way to be friends with an ex. I understand that there are situations where it's not possible because it's not safe or but I never wanted to have it be nasty.
Right.
You know, his reality is his and mine is mine. And so you're not going to ever get the answers you want to hear from a person. So whatever closure you may be looking for from a person, you have to find that forgiveness and closure within yourself, because that closure is not going to come from that person that was a toxic situation or that you're hurting from. You know, and so it's just but my life isn't stopping. I'm still growing. I'm still learning every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at today. And I'm so happy. And I'm so just here I am.
This is amazing. This is, I mean, I like was my eyes were watering up at certain points just because I know you so deeply. And it's amazing that this change within you just happened within like 4 months, and here you are on my channel, because I tried to get you on here a couple months ago, and it's just amazing how the timing worked out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you guys, I watched Kate go through these things of not serving who she was, not adding value to herself. And we would have these conversations because I was in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not realizing it. We were not realizing it together. Also realizing it together. I mean, Kate is one of my most dearest clients I've ever had, because we related so much. And this is like what this podcast is about, you guys. It's relating to me, it's relating to Kate, it's relating to somebody else's story, to find your light. And I think it's so beautiful what you said is like, I don't regret any of it. Like, I had to be in the dark to get into the light. I had to make this choice to understand why I made another choice. And I feel like because you had unconditional love throughout the whole time, that's what kept bringing you to another light and another light and another light. And you know, when you're on a journey with yourself of learning to love yourself and be content with who you are and learning to forgive and let go,
Oof.
that shit's hard. And that journey is very lonely. You know, it's very
Mm-hmm.
it's very dark, you know, and but because it's lonely, because you have to look at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is just like, I mean, I'm just so proud of you. Like,
Thank
I'm so
you.
proud of you because, you know, last time it was a different situation that you were in, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, man, Kate is just like this ball of love and energy and light. And she just is, she's finding it. She's finding it. And so for you to find it and get to decide who you get to become, who you want to become, what kind of people you have around you,
Mm-hmm.
people that serve you,
Right.
you serve yourself, is a fucking game changer.
Uh,
It's a game changer.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you can sense the energy when you walk into a room, right? I'm very aware of all of that now. And if it doesn't suit me or feel right, I won't stay.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like an uncomfortable, like just stepping out of my comfort zone type room, because we all have to do that. We all have to do that.
Right.
But it just, I won't allow it anymore for myself, who was I? Like, I had to find out who I was. And it's like, how do you do that? And I think that everybody's journey is so different.
Yes.
It's so, so different. And there's no timeline to it. Right. And so it's kind of like grief. It's not linear. There are ups and downs and lows and highs and everything else. But when you get to the place where you can accept, and I still, like I said, I still have moments where I'm like, something comes into my head, but I'm like, hello, I see you. And thank you for checking in today, but you're able to dismiss it. So, kind of, I guess it's just learning how to manage behaviors better.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So it's been a really, really, I mean, even my parents at Thanksgiving said, like, they just were like, you're just this different person.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with Owen and he was just like, I can't, because he was saying that he appreciated me because I was, unfortunately, like they had a death in the family. And so do you need anything or whatever? And I was talking to them and Owen was just like, it's like, I don't even recognize you because I was always so on eggshells or filled with anxiety or what's going to happen next. And he was just like, I appreciate this so, so much because 6 years ago, he saw me spiral out of control. Yeah, things have happened since then and we've grown and been mature.
Right.
But again, like I said, that was just about a month ago. And he was like, who are you?
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing, right? You want to become unrecognizable from the person you're past. And it's so crazy, like how our brains like program what we think is true, what we
Yeah.
think is right. And it can come from, how you were raised, but it literally became what you were in the relationship with Owen. Because I mean, I started doing your hair when you were still married to him.
Right.
And even out of that, like I watched you go in and out and your body like tense and like, you know, like letting go of things and figuring out. I mean, we talked about it all the time. And it was a beautiful thing that you could talk about it, you know what I mean, to me or other people.
Right.
And to see like, and I was like, maybe she needs to go through that. And like, even for myself, like I needed to go through this and I needed to go through that to understand. When I moved to Colorado, I didn't realize how much I was giving and giving and giving and giving and not giving to myself because I'm unrecognizable from 2 years ago, for sure.
Absolutely. You are. Absolutely.
For sure.
There's this glow to you that was just,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we both sat there and were like, we knew what needed to happen,
Mhm.
but obviously there's always that fear and
Right.
fear. And I am so like, it's, what do they say? Fear is, I can't remember what the acronym for it, but that will hold anybody back. But right, the scariest decisions are usually the best ones.
Got it.
Um, and I've had to make a lot of scary decisions. You made a scary decision when you just moved to Napa.
Right. That too.
And then I remember the fear of moving to Colorado, but you did it and look at you.
Yeah. And same for you, it's kind of like one of those things where I recognize that's why I felt stuck in Ventura. It's because I literally couldn't grow because I was suffocated from everything else, and everybody else's energy and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, the people around me were amazing, you know what I mean? But I also let certain things not have control of who I was. And
Right.
I still wanted to please people and do everything and be everywhere and la 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 la, and then you completely lose yourself, right? And so that's why I needed to leave. But at the same time, it was like, I've been here my whole life. Like, how can I grow? And that's the thing. This is what's really cool about you, is that you grew in the same place, because that is fucking hard. That is super hard to grow with the same things around you. And it's really, fear is like really about like getting super uncomfortable. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you have to get
Mhm.
uncomfortable with yourself. You have to get uncomfortable in the darkness. You have to get uncomfortable saying no. You have to get uncomfortable, like letting go of people that no longer serve you in your life. I mean, you can be like acquaintances, but then it's like you learn boundaries. I didn't even know what boundaries were
Oh
until
yeah.
like last year. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I never created boundaries for myself.
Oh, me neither. Me
And
neither.
it's like the simplest thing, right? It's like
It's so
once you know
simple.
what those boundaries are, for me, I wrote them down. I wrote them down. I made it a thing because sometimes if we just think about, and this goes for everything, what we want in a guy, what we want in a job, like we have it all in our head. But once we write it down, I feel like you're ready for it.
Right. Yep.
And if I wrote it down, I knew exactly like when I could recognize the boundary and like started writing sticky notes all over the place like you did. It becomes a part of you that you are growing into by unbreaking the chains of what you were programmed with.
Right. Right.
You
And
know,
your brain's like a muscle. You
it is
have to, if for it to grow and change and whatever, you have to work it. And if you're not doing that,
right.
it's not gonna like it doesn't just rewire itself.
No.
It's what you feed it
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
helps it to grow. And so, um, and some people are like, well, how do you do that?
Right.
It it is very personal, it is very individual. I can offer you tools and guidance and whatever on what I did, but
Right.
that's not going to necessarily work for you.
Right.
um and I think people get stuck in that, like,
Right.
well, she could change, why can't I? Because my journey's not yours.
Right.
um but if you sit in the misery or the negativity or that bad energy, it will never change.
Will never change.
Ever.
Yeah.
And you have to make the decision that
Yeah.
you want change, you want something different. That's the same thing with, any alcoholic addict, they have to be the ones that want the change, else it will never change. Um, and I think that's with everything in life, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, you have to be the change, to change your situation because, if someone's like, well, if she can change, I can too, but why am I not changing? Well, then you're going right back into the victim. You know what I mean? And I mean, even in this journey through the podcast, like I'm different from my first podcast to now, even recognizing more how I can forgive myself and more how I can forgive others and really look at everybody as like whatever you believe in, but as God's children, like, God would
Mhm.
never shame you for who you are, but
Right.
you also get to choose to create a boundary. And that boundary can be created with unconditional love. Because
Mhm.
once you have unconditional love there, you can see everybody for who they are and decide if they're going to be in your little circle or they're going to be out here. And
Right.
it takes a long time. And actually, everybody's journey is different from lengths of time. It's
Mhm.
just how much work you put into yourself every day. Like
Right.
even with your morning routine of like journaling, meditating, reading, working out, not going on your phone the first hour of the day, hydrating, rinsing off in a cold shower, whatever that is, you're
Mhm.
pumping your brain with all these things for self-love
Right.
so
Right.
that you can have more purpose in your day of what you are doing for yourself and others,
Yep. Yep.
you know?
Yeah. And everybody has to find what their routine is and
Right.
what's going to feed their soul. So, you know, um, it, but I think today people are impatient, right? We live in a very impatient, instant gratification, judgmental, whatever you want to call it, society. So
Right.
people think this is going to happen overnight. No, it's not. And it's a process, and you have to be very, very focused on it every single day. And you can't skip a day. Can't skip a day.
Really.
Especially like the thoughts and the who you surround yourself with. That is going to be the most important part of growth and change whatever you read, you know, like I love reading. And again, we just live in a very short attention span type world these days. So people want the next best thing.
Well, if it's instant gratification, guess what? You're going to feel amazing one day and you're going to feel like shit the next day, maybe shit the
Right.
next day because it's all instantaneously, right? So if
Yeah.
people look at it like that, you're like, oh, so that's obviously going to show you it does take time. And
Right.
when you actually, stop spending money on like, things that don't serve you and you invest in yourself, like hiring a coach like yourself, hiring someone that you feel is like your community,
Mhm.
we're not telling you to like talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to me. It's finding your community. Like you might be sitting here, you guys, and be like, wow, Kate's story, like I resonate with that. I want to reach out to her and she can help you, or she can guide you into something else because she's in that field, and that's what it's all about for you that who are out there listening, trying to find this journey. Like, what is your purpose?
Mhm.
What is your purpose? Write down who you want to become, even if it's freaking ridiculous, like, and try to live from that backwards and do everything every single day to get you there, because you miss a day, yes, you can start all over the next day, but your mind is wanting to absorb these things every day until it becomes true and it becomes real and it becomes a feeling in your soul and your heart.
Mhm.
And I bet like Tyler, first of all, your son, I love the shit out of Tyler.
He's a good guy.
He's such a good dude. He is such a good dude. And I feel like he was just meant to be your child. I mean, he was so humble and just who he was throughout your guys' marriage. He saw everything that was happening.
Mhm.
And I think like he also taught you like, oh, this doesn't serve me. I'm going to be in this little area right here to serve myself and learn how to have a relationship with my dad and learn how to have a relationship with my mom. And so it's like, how does he look at you now compared to like 2 years ago, a year ago?
Yeah, and I mean, he notices a difference. And I don't think that, he's very protective of me also. And so, but he is, I can only, your relationship with your child changes as they're an adult, right? So now I'm at a place where I'm not short with him or just, I don't know, Tyler, I don't want to talk about it or whatever. Like I'm able to guide him in a direction that will help him in his life
Right.
because of experiences I went through. His experiences will all be different.
Right.
But what I explained to his dad the other night is, yes, we are his parents, but he's 24. Okay. He's an adult. So there are things. Yeah. 24.
Oh,
I know. I know.
oh my God.
He's so grown up.
First of all, let me just point out something, you guys. Her son and your kids or whoever is tiny around you, like, which means life is so damn short. Start today.
Yep.
Start today. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
the one thing I would never, when, whatever I felt about Owen or whatever, I would never, ever, I always encouraged Tyler's relationship with his dad because I don't want Tyler to have any regrets. It's your dad and he loves him
Yeah.
because he's his father. Did he see stuff I really wish he didn't have to? Absolutely. Did he have a very honest conversation with his dad after we split? Yes. Did it go anywhere? No. Like it was I'm having this honest conversation, but you didn't change. But Tyler also, he's a very, very, very balanced young man. And I think that my energy though feeds into just being in a house with somebody that's got toxic energy or whatever, and they're walking on eggshells. So he's much more at peace. But because I'm at the place that I am, I'm able to kind of help him and guide him and lead him in a direction that he's going in life, the best I can, because ultimately it is his decision, right? And as an
Yeah.
adult, there's consequences to certain decisions and everything like that. But I can't make all those decisions for him forever. Yes, I'll always be his mom, but I sometimes forget he's an adult and he can make his own decisions.
Right.
But and I think that Tyler struggles with that a little bit too, because he lives with me still, and so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind for his
Right.
dad a little bit.
Right.
And of course he has a new wife and everything else. But he struggles because weeks will go by and then he'll get a phone call from his dad, but it'll be like why are you doing this? What about this? And da da da. And it's not a, hey bud, how's it going? So
Mm.
Tyler kind of struggles with that a little bit. Like, you don't get to just step in after a few weeks and be like, dad, like,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, we struggled with that when Tyler was little too, because we had
Right.
our routine.
Right.
This is how things went. You're on tour for 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is. And then you're going to step back in here and try and
Right.
mess up our routine. So,
Right.
um, but their relationship is great. Tyler's relationship with Owen's wife is wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better situation.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes, he's a good guy.
yeah. And I hope that that you deserve that too. Even if you might not be looking for that, you deserve that too. You deserve, but guess what you started with? You're in the best relationship with yourself.
Right. Right.
That's what it starts off with. It's like, I would have never found Daniel if I wasn't in the best relationship with myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to be so masculine anymore. I don't have to be like protecting myself and like protecting myself from getting hurt and protecting, the fact that like I was trying to take care of the past men I dated, just like you, just like, come on, like, let's see the world together. Let's love ourselves. Like, you know,
Yeah.
but you can't really be with someone if you don't love yourself completely.
Right.
What I'm thinking? Finding Daniel with a man that, is in his masculine energy and is a man and just like loves who he is. All these things just go away.
Right.
You get to be yourself and you get to be in your most divine feminine energy as a woman who gets to be in that relationship with self or with somebody else. Like,
Right.
I get to choose to, be in love with myself, to also love Daniel. And
Mhm.
it's a really cool thing. And I hope that that you deserve that too. And like, it's not like not going to happen for you. You're just so amazing and beautiful.
Right. Right.
But there's things that you're doing and there's things that you are doing today, like helping people. And, of course, you said it a couple minutes ago about now you're learning how to have boundaries in your business,
Mhm.
because that's, something I would be afraid for you too, because
Oh,
of, taking home, these things that people are talking about. Like I used to do it too, like with my clients. I mean, there were times when I would have to have my friends like just rub my arms, take it all out of me, because I would literally take it all in.
yeah.
Where now I can just sit there and listen. And if they ask me a question, I can be like, well, I did this. I invested in this. This is what I did. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to control your emotions and who you are. This is what I did. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll work for you.
Right. Right. Yeah. You can offer advice and then they can do with it what they will.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you're right. And I do have a question for you. And this is one thing that I struggle with,
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
because, and I know, like, I get so uncomfortable
Mhm.
when somebody wants to pay for my food or open my door or compliment me. I like want to hide under a rock
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
because it's so foreign, I think. And
Yes.
maybe I'll get used to it, because yeah,
Yeah.
I've been on dates and stuff, but it's like, right away whether or not it's like
Right.
something or not.
And that's true. That's super true. You know, because I used to be super uncomfortable. Luckily my ex-boyfriend, he just paid for everything. He would get pissed off if I asked from
Oh,
like our first date. And so I learned, that's something I did learn from that relationship is when you let a man pay, it's their masculinity. Like
right.
when you were like, no, 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 let me do it, let me do it, let me do it. You're like, they don't get to be a man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Mhm.
I'm not saying that like, well, Daniel's just going to pay for everything that, we do, but he just does. He's like, and I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But with certain things, like with big things, if like, because we're long distance, if we're staying at an Airbnb, we split that, you know what I'm saying? And everything
Yeah.
else is like whatever you want to do. But I was super uncomfortable with that because I've been independent and I take care of myself and I was taking care of all these other people and just like, no, 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 no. I like doing that too.
Yeah.
But I also learned with my ex that um I knew it was a sense of being a masculine man.
Yes, and I've read about that, so I've tried really hard to just let them do it.
Yes.
It's an uncomfortable thing because like you said, I'm independent. I do it. I can take care of it, you know? And I think that I get in that place, and this is where I remind myself too, is I don't need anybody to do that for me. I don't need. Do I want so much? You want to have that person or whatever it may be, but I don't need it. And so I fall back into that sometimes when
Right, right.
that starts, but I don't need you to do that. Like I got this, but Kate, they like doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And this is a great question for all women out there because, I know I've talked to my little brother, this was years ago, and he was like, well, things are expensive, Brittany. Like, why do I always have to pay? And I'm like, and here I am, like trying to pay for things, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm like, it's like, because it shows that you can take care of yourself and you honor your masculine energy. So what happens is like when we as women try to constantly pay for everything, guess what that makes us? Masculine.
Yes.
It makes us masculine and it makes us in control. And do you think, I mean, men are a box of rocks sometimes, but like, they maybe won't see that, but they'll get used to that. Oh, she's just going to take care of this, 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 this.
Mm.
It'll go into a lot of different things that you might not recognize, that the other person might recognize. So let a man be a man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Mhm.
so, and like the more you do it, like go on dates just for those purposes. You know,
Yeah.
go on dates just to learn how to be feminine, not take control. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I did not realize that at all until I invested in myself and went into a coaching group and recognized these lessons that I was thought like, oh shit, like I'm trying to control a situation. I'm letting my more masculine energy come out than my feminine energy come out.
Right.
And so, and I think that a real man will see that beauty in a woman.
Right.
It's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's nothing to be like feel bad about or feel guilty. And then you have to question yourself like, why do I feel guilty about that?
Yeah.
What makes me feel guilty about that? And if you go on a date with a man and they're like looking at you like the bill, I know.
No.
You
And
know,
again, I think it's because well, I had somebody that like would always forget his wallet. You and I know who this person is. I'm not even getting to that. But they forget their wallet. Really?
mhm.
Okay.
I mean,
But
there's
you know
two
why he would
girlfriends
forget his
that
wallet? Because I could handle it.
yeah,
I could handle it.
yeah,
But
like,
and then it's just like so it is an uncomfortable space for me. And there's people that'll be like, no, you're never paying. And it's like, huh,
yeah.
okay,
I mean,
okay,
there
okay.
comes to a point, right? Like still, like, I know when Daniel and I are together, he just pays for everything. And I just don't question it because I know that's something that he just likes to do when it comes to big things because we are in a relationship now, it's not like baby new, then
Yeah.
things will work together, hey, like we're going on this trip, at the end of the year or whatever, like we do these things together. But if he wants to do that, like I let him,
Yeah.
um, and if it's like major things, if like we're going out to dinner and we want to do like a tip dinner and leave, 100, 200, $300 to the waitress for the
Yeah.
season, you know what I mean?
Right.
We do that together. Like sometimes I'll just do that part.
Yeah.
But it's really finding, I hate saying the word balance, but it's really finding like your balance of your feminine energy and masculine energy, and then where it becomes more or less. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, that is a great question. I'm glad you asked me that, because that's something that like I really had to learn, because I also understood, because of me being so masculine in these relationships with narcissistic men
Yep.
who like try to control everything because they couldn't turn around and look at themselves in the mirror and love who they were. I was masculine and had to protect myself. So then I was like, so it's really just learning that tool. And
Yeah.
the more, the
It,
more,
it does put you into that vulnerable, like, uh-oh, I still really protect my heart and I have some walls up, like
yeah, as you
it
should.
makes you vulnerable, right? And but then you go, but why? Like, who cares?
Right.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay, Kate. Like, it's okay to be, you've never allowed anybody to take care of you or help take care of you or do any of that. You've just always handled it.
Right.
Um, so, but that's all part of the process too, right? You have to move through all these things. So,
Right, exactly. I mean, it's like we take care of our part as being a woman, and men take care of their part as being a man, and like, especially with how men are being so shamed with their masculinity, that is a whole new pool
oh,
of things. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so it's like all these n- natural things, like how we naturally are being questioned when they shouldn't.
right, right.
So I think it's very important to like step back from all of that, like, and look at your dates or your life and like be vulnerable, be transparent, be honest. Like, don't go into anything being who you're not. Go
Oh,
into
absolutely not. Yeah.
who you are
Yep.
and who you want to be, and so, and that will open all these doors and all these people around you, just like how you changed all your circle of friends around you. That will help you find the right man, or help you find the right job, or help you find, just a better path, because
Yeah.
you are working on having the best things around you to bring you up to this level.
Mhm.
And even when you have the best right now, some people are going to be like little boosters on you, like a rocket. They're going up in these levels with you, and sometimes they'll fall off because they don't have the ambition or the passion or the purpose to get to that fucking level way up there.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
everything is okay. People are coming in your life for seasons, or they're going to come in your life for a lifetime.
Yep. Yep.
All okay, as long as you love and respect each other, and you have love and kindness with everything, and know, like, I'm doing this for me. um it just makes the world around you a better
Oh,
place, and this.
yeah.
Now
So
you
much.
teach this. I feel like everything that you've gone through in your life, and just pushing those boundaries for yourself. Oh, okay, I understand that I can help someone even more now, and I think
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
I
Yeah. And
think
that's, you go here and my purpose, like I tell people all the time, if I can change one person's life, then I've done my job.
yes,
That's it. You know, and I often forget that daily we change lives in our community here through what we do at the Y. Be it just offering advice to somebody that will stick with somebody forever. And that change that helps them on their path or whatever it may be, you know, and I think that that's where people forget how powerful words are.
Oh yeah.
Negative will damage you until the day you die.
Let it, if you let it.
Yes. But they're very, words are damaging, but they're also so impactful.
Right.
And so I think that that's just where I'm at. If I help to change one person's life, or they have a second chance at life because they've beat an addiction or whatever it may be, they fall back, but I'll be right there with them. But then I've done my job. My duty here on earth is done.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And that's what I've learned this last year of investing in myself. And like, I'm like, dude, I talk to people all day long in my chair, and like these deep conversations that are inspiring and growth. And like, I thought, like, who am I to do all this stuff? But who am I not?
Right.
Because I'm passionate about it. And like you said, if we help one person, that's great. Well, guess what? I want to help more than one person. I want to help 10 people. I want to help 20 people. I want to help 1,000 people, And I feel like if you're passionate about something, just do it.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And so if I know you have like an appointment coming up here. So like if someone out there in the audience was in your shoes 6 years ago, what would you tell them?
If they were in my shoes 6 years ago, I would tell them they have to live that. You have to live that. You have to go through that. It's happening as dark and shitty as it is, and as alone, you feel so alone because everybody around you is still living, right? Their lives are going on, but you have to go through that, and you have to feel it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to release it and accept it, and then move forward the next day, the next year, but also take it. You can't go look too far in the future. You have to take it minute by minute when you're in a situation like that. But don't ever give up on yourself or your future or where you're going, because it does feel like you just want to give up. I felt it.
Yeah.
But I had to feel it to put me to where I'm at today, or to start me on that path.
Right.
But everybody goes through these things, and however you need to feel it, do it.
Yeah.
Be on your knees crying. I can promise you I was.
Oh yeah.
I don't like change, and my whole world was changing. But also, you aren't alone, and there are good people in this world that will sit with you and let you cry. There are people in this world that will hold you, that will just support you. Even when you don't want to be around people, there are people that will just sit with you. They won't talk. They won't say a word. They will just let you do what needs to be done to get you through that moment in time.
That is so well said. So beautiful. And just, you guys just own it. Own being in the dark. And if someone is not there for you to talk to, reach out, journal it, whatever you got to do. That is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm here. I love sharing my story. I love being help to anybody. So if anybody is out there watching and does want to reach out,
yes,
absolutely, I will. I am looking, again, like I said, it's just all about empowering each other.
absolutely.
Because that's what life's about. So,
well, yeah. And I feel like, the journey is self-love. I'm not going to stop doing this journey with everybody. And you guys, like, she's on the same journey, right? So if you want to reach out to her, everything in the box below will have her information, and just say hi. Don't be scared. Like, there's no reason why you have to be ashamed to say hello.
No, not at all.
Don't be ashamed of knocking on that door, because you never know what that's going to be, because you choose to knock instead of being fearful, instead of holding back and just being a victim. Just release and find out.
Yeah.
Ask questions. So
Yeah. And you sometimes think nobody really can understand what I might be feeling right now.
right,
There are people that we all understand that it's painful.
right.
It's physically painful when you're
Yes, it
going through.
is.
So I do understand it.
Yes,
Um,
really is.
and and it's not, those kind of things aren't triggering to me anymore, right?
Right.
Because I can just relate so deeply with people that are having that physical pain from whatever it is that they're going through. So I'm
Yeah,
here.
that's so true. That's so true. I love it. Kate, I'm so proud of you. Like,
Thank you. I'm
what
proud of you
an
too. I love watching it.
recognizable person you are. And I love seeing this. I love to see that you're winning because I knew you would get to this place because you're just bound not to. You have too much greatness to give to yourself and others. And I am so here for this journey with you.
Oh,
Like
thank
this is
you.
so amazing to see this light and what you're doing. It's just incredible. So thank you guys for listening. And again, there's like, I don't know when this episode is going to come out because they're stacked, but we're getting close to 50. So there's 50 stories that you can listen to, that you can relate to and find your community of getting on that train of self-love, you guys. I don't know why I did that. What did I do that?
Because self-love.
Self-love. A cheerleader.
Oh, yay. Oh, man. Well,
Well,
thank
I
you
hope
for
to see
having
you
me
soon.
too.
Yeah, I'm so like, I was like, oh my God, I need to talk to Kate. Like she just is this ball of love and light and has an incredible story. So I thank you. And
Well, I feel very honored. Thank you.
I feel honored too. I really do.
Oh.
And hopefully next time in California, I will see you.
Yes, yes. When you're here again, see me.
Definitely. All right, you guys, have a great Monday and we will catch up with you next week. Bye.
Bye.